Welcome to the Lose Weight, Live Life podcast. If you're a female professional or entrepreneur who would do anything to lose weight, yet finds it impossible to stick to a diet, to eat less, or just what you think you should, this podcast is for you. I am your host, certified life and weight coach, Clair MACKENZIE. Listen in to learn how to stop overeating, lose weight for the last time, and create a relationship with food and yourself that you love, all without diet deprivation and self-sabotage. Hi everyone, and welcome to podcast episode number 78. Now, apologies if you can hear some background noise. Today, we've got some building work going on next door, and they seem to have just started drilling into the wall adjacent to our house. So apologies for that. Before we get started talking about mindset shifts to help you get started with weight loss, I wanted to give you an update about joining the Lose Weight, Live Life Academy, because a few of you have reached out recently to ask me about joining. So monthly membership of the Academy will open again in late April. However, because some of you have been telling me that you don't want to wait until then, what I have decided to do is to offer a limited number of annual membership packages with 6 weeks private coaching. So if this is something that you're interested in, if you're interested in an annual package with 6 weeks of private coaching, then do go to www.thebestyou.coach/ and then the numbers 12 and offer, and check out all the details. When you join now, you will have access to all of the coaching and teaching classes that have taken place since the beginning of this year, including the January Food for Thought program replays, and you'll be ready to join us live for the next Food for Thought program that will kick off in May. All of the details, as I said, are at www.thebestyou.coach/ 12, and then offer, OFFER. Also, I just wanted to say a happy belated International Women's Day. International Women's Day was on Tuesday, the 8th of March, and this year's theme was Break the Bias. And related to that, I've been thinking about bias and how it shows up in weight loss and weight management. And of course, there is so much bias when it comes to what we weigh and our body size, as well as our food choices too. There is bias around dieting and approaches to weight loss. And the more I thought about this, the more I realised that the most important thing is addressing the bias that we have against ourselves, conditioned by our life experiences and cultural norms. Now, I know I repeat this a lot, but the first step is awareness. If we're to break the bias and create a world free of weight and body image bias, stereotypes and discrimination, we have to start with addressing the bias we have against ourselves. Only then can we extend that to our communities and workplaces and schools and everywhere else. And that starts with how you think about yourself and how you talk to yourself. If you're constantly berating yourself for not weighing less or eating differently, then it's time to stop. It's time to break the bias. And so, with that in mind, let's talk about weight mindset skills to help you get started with weight loss. We're going to talk about why you can't get started. We're going to talk about shifting your mindset to help you get started. I'm going to talk about stepping into self-love, and then finally taking action. Okay, so let's start with looking at why you can't get started. And I see two patterns of this. The first is where you know deep down inside that you want to lose weight and get started, but you don't do anything about it at all, except possibly eat in a way that leads you to gain weight in a sort of pre-getting started phase. And I know about this because I did it often. And the second is being stuck in that place of deciding to start and then immediately on the same day deciding that you've failed, meaning that you need to start again over and over and over. And I also see this because it's so familiar to me, having played out that cycle, well, if you add all the days together, years and years of my life. And so if you relate to either of these, here are 5 things that might be going on for you. The first is previous diet experiences that were so uncomfortable, painful, or traumatic that you feel like starting your next attempt at weight loss is you going into battle with yourself or your life. And this is at the forefront of my mind right now because it's something that we just did a deep dive into in the Lose Weight, Live Life Academy this week. So even as I use the words diet trauma, and I question myself on whether it sounds too dramatic, but I really don't think that it is. So the definition of trauma is a deeply distressing or disturbing experience, and many of you have shared with me your first diet experiences that may have been brought about because you were maybe bullied about your weight at school, or because you were taken to a doctor or a diet club by your parents because they were concerned about your weight. And others of you have shared how you started dieting as a teenager because you wanted to be slimmer to feel better about yourself. You see, when dieting is brought about out of a fear that you're not slim enough or pretty enough or not enough in any other way, you start dieting from a place of intense dissatisfaction with yourself. And then you find that diet experience difficult and depriving and miserable, and you work really hard at it, and it maybe works for a bit, but then you fail and the weight comes back on. And you end up being even more miserable and frustrated with yourself, and you make it mean there's something else wrong with you because you cannot stick at the diet that, of course, you tell yourself everyone else can, and everyone else seems to be raving about, and everyone else seems to be losing weight on. And that is traumatic. And when you play out this pattern in slightly different ways over years or decades, it's no wonder that you have a lot of internal resistance to getting started at losing weight again. So if you relate to being in that space where you want to lose weight, but you kind of know you're avoiding it, please just give yourself a break. Your subconscious thinking is likely telling you it won't work, or if it does, I will gain the weight back, or I don't want to spend months feeling deprived, I don't want to spend months willpowering myself out of internal battles where I both do and don't want whatever food it is. Allow yourself to sort of say, yes, I want to lose weight, but no, I don't want to feel the way that I felt when I've dieted in the past or failed at dieting in the past. And that is okay. It's okay that I'm avoiding it right now. Okay, that might sound counterintuitive, but if you are avoiding it, not allowing it to be okay is adding on more pressure on top of yourself. So just allow it to be okay. All right. The other reasons kind of slot under this one. They're all kind of interlinked. So the second one is fear of failure. Now this comes up because of what we made it mean about ourselves and how we talk to ourselves when we failed previously. We can be so mean to ourselves when we fail at dieting and gain weight back that we lost. We tell ourselves we're weak-willed, incapable, and we start telling ourselves that we're never going to be able to succeed. So if you believe that you will never succeed at weight loss, if you believe that even if you lose weight, you'll gain it right back again, you're not going to want to get started. You're not going to feel motivated. You are probably going to feel apathetic. And because you don't know why you're not getting started, you're already self-judging, and you're probably feeling some self-judgment too. And another reason is related to other people, and that is fear of what others will think if they see you getting started again and or they see you failing again. So maybe you're telling yourself you spent lots of money on weight loss programs. Maybe you're telling yourself you've tried everything. Maybe you have previously avoided socializing with friends and family because you're dieting. Or maybe you've gone out for a meal with friends and courageously not eaten any food at the restaurant because you were doing a shakes and bars diet, and you addressed all your thoughts and their thoughts and even the waiter's thoughts about opinions of you. And yes, I am speaking from experience here. And the fact that I can remember so clearly the restaurant and the occasion is highlighting to me now what an uncomfortable experience that was. And yet in the moment, I was feeling proud and determined, and I had already lost some weight, and I felt justified in what I was doing. And of course, I was justified in doing whatever I wanted to do because it was my choice. But the point I'm making is this: if, like I did, you then gained the weight back, it may be that you have thoughts about their thoughts of friends and family and what they are thinking about you or what they might think about you if they see you looking at another weight loss journey, making efforts to lose weight again. And the idea of them observing you having another attempt at weight loss is uncomfortable, and you think that they may have thoughts about what you're doing, even if they're being supportive. And the truth is, your fear of what they may think about you is actually what you're thinking about yourself. Anytime we're concerned what others think, it's because we believe it in ourselves on some level, in some small way. We think there's some element of truth about what we think they're thinking. And we have a lot of thoughts about this when it comes to our self-image, our body image, losing weight, dieting, how we eat, all of those things. And the fourth reason is when you think you don't have time. I did a podcast episode on this. It's episode number 52 called Not Enough Time to Lose Weight. And I will drop the link in the show notes. And of course, you forget at the most basic level, eating less food or even eating foods that will help you to lose weight doesn't need to take time. And in fact, eating less could potentially save you time. But do check out that episode for more information about when you think you've not got enough time to lose weight. And the last one is what I call all or nothing thinking, or perfectionist thinking. It's where you believe that you have to have everything set up just right in order to start. This might look like you not having tempting treat foods in the house. or so you've got to sort of like eat them all up before you can start. Or it looks like you having a calendar clear of social occasions for a few weeks, or you not having any life challenges. Or it may look like you thinking that in order to get started, you need to cook healthy meals from scratch and go to the gym 5 times a week, and you're not sure how you're going to do that yet, and so you don't start. Or it might look like you going from eating 3 large meals and 3 snacks a day to you eating 3 very small meals and nothing else. The things you need to have in place or do to get you through the first week are either unrealistic or exhausting and depriving. When this is what you're thinking, when this is what's going on for you, it's no wonder that you cannot get started if you're trapped in a mindset of believing that all of this is necessary. And although I said that was the last one, I actually want to add one more. And that is that when you believe you cannot get through the day or that you cannot cope without the comfort of food. And this was me too. Although, of course, I was unaware of it at the time. When food is your salve, if that's the right word, when food alleviates the discomfort of your life, when food is your escape from life momentarily, the idea of not having it, whether it's conscious or not, can feel a little unbearable. And so if you resonate with this, that could be another reason why you're not getting started. Okay, so lots of reasons there why you may not be getting started losing weight. And in fact, I could add in many more. So please, if you're relating to this, if you're not wanting to lose weight but not doing anything about it, give yourself a break. As I said, it's not because you're weak-willed or broken. You have many very good reasons. And contrary to what you may be thinking, being aware of them is going to help you and not hinder you taking that first step. Because being aware is an opportunity for you to step into self-compassion, to make peace with where you find yourself and allow it to be okay that you've not got started yet, and to trust that you absolutely can and will. So how do you do that? How do you move forward from being stuck in not starting to moving forward? Well, you don't start with making promises to yourself about what you will or won't eat tomorrow. You start with uncovering and understanding your current thinking keeping you stuck, and you move forward from there. So chances are that some of what I shared about the reasons you cannot get started resonated. So now it's time to put pen to paper and write about what did resonate for you. Depending on which reason resonated the most, ask yourself questions like these. What have I made it mean about me when I failed diets previously? What have I not enjoyed when I was losing weight previously? I think that's probably one that we can all answer. What do I think others think of me when I'm working at losing weight? How is all or nothing thinking or perfectionist thinking showing up for me? How much time do I need to work at losing weight? And why is it difficult for me to prioritize that? Start writing about all the reasons that you are resistant to working at losing weight, whilst you are fearful at working at losing weight. What you find depriving when you're working at losing weight. The purpose of doing this is to uncover your default subliminal thinking that is keeping you stuck. Because once you uncover those thoughts, then you can analyze them to show yourself that they are simply thoughts and not truths. For example, if you think, I know that I will fail again because I failed so many times before, then you're going to want to question that belief and ask yourself whether previous failure determines future failure. Is that like a set thing, a rule that nobody ever breaks? Because believe it or not, the way we get to be successful is generally from learning from our past failures. It's incredibly difficult to be successful at anything without failing, because as I said, it's through the failing that we learn. If you're resistant to starting weight loss efforts because you think I don't want to, or I don't like feeling deprived, that's also great to know. Now all you need to do is figure out a way for you to lose weight that doesn't feel depriving, and then you've got no reason not to get started. And of course, that's what we do in the Lose Weight, Live Life Academy, because you create your own weight loss journey so that you don't feel deprived. So before you can find solutions, you need to know which ones are the right solutions for you, and you identify those through exploring your own thinking. Again, this is all a part of the work that we do inside of the Lose Weight, Live Life Academy. So as you start to become aware of the mindset keeping you stuck, and as you start to shift your thinking into new possibility, you will naturally start to feel differently. And this is what makes it easier to get started with your weight loss. And those feelings, those emotions that help propel you forward may be emotions like motivation, being motivated, being compelled, being capable, being confident, and of course there are many, many more. And there is also one more emotion that I think benefits each of us in our efforts to move towards something that we truly want, and that is self-love. We are so used to losing weight from a place of dissatisfaction with ourselves, or self-loathing, or self-frustration. We forget that we want to lose weight to feel better, whether that's physically or emotionally or aesthetically. I'm not sure, I think aesthetically would also be classed as emotionally, but you know what I mean. And I say this a lot, I know, but I'm going to say it again because it's important. If you must do something that a part of you doesn't want to do, such as drive a 150-mile round trip to collect someone, how much easier is it for you to do that for someone you love, like your child or your partner or your best friend, than for someone you're not so fond with, such as that colleague at work who you clash with? Okay. And now I said there's something you must do. Of course, with everything that we're doing weight loss, it's always about choice. It's always about learning what you want to do, not what you're telling yourself you should do. But the point I'm trying to make here is that when you step into feeling self-love, it's so much easier to do things that you think are maybe going to be hard or arduous or require commitment and persistence when you are feeling that love for the other person, or in this case, for yourself. It's easier for you to do things for yourself when you're appreciating yourself. And even when we break down the things you want to do to lose weight into little pieces day by day, it's so much easier to do the things that serve you for the long term, but maybe feel difficult or unappealing in the moment when it's coming from that place of self-love, of having your own back, of knowing that you're choosing to do this for you. You get to feel self-love when you think thoughts like, my health is important to me. I matter. I'm worth this work. I refuse to belittle or demean my efforts. I get to do this my way. It's okay if I make mistakes. I get to choose how I eat. I am amazing just as I am. I am perfectly imperfect. I am proud to be a human doing her best. Okay. And then finally, the things we think make the difference that we're used to focusing on, but that if you focus on everything else, first tend to fall into place pretty naturally without too much effort, are the things that we do. Okay, so we often tend to focus on the things that we do being the most important, the actions that we take and the things that we do and don't do. But as I said, once we look at our thoughts and our feelings, once we take care of our mindset first, these things tend to fall into place more easily. Now, if you're in the Lose Weight, Live Life Academy, these look like deciding how you want to eat for life. You choosing, how do you want to eat for life? What is going to work for you? You planning day by day what that looks like. Making it as easy as possible for yourself by making small changes bit by bit. Exploring ways to make weight loss fun. Only doing things you really want to do. Being consistent with small changes and then building on them at a pace that works for you. Incorporating a journaling practice so that you can focus on mindset work to make the heavy lifting of taking action so much easier. You can also focus on things like your hunger levels, not overeating at meals, making better snacking choices, stopping snacking, increasing your water, moving more, learning what to do when you feel over desire for food and practicing that work, as well as evaluating and following the discovery process when you eat differently to how you intended and wish that you hadn't. And of course, there's lots more. There are so many things you can do to move forward on your weight loss journey that the things that you have been used to doing through dieting don't need to be your path forward. And when you see all of the other things that you can do to help yourself to feel better, to lose weight, then just maybe the reasons you're not taking action just sort of dissipate, just go away. And by the way, you don't have to be doing all of those things I just listed. You just get to choose a couple that are most interesting and feel the easiest for you. Okay, if you want a totally different experience to following a diet, you can have that. Okay, so that's what I wanted to share with you today. So to recap, we explored reasons why you may be struggling to get started with weight loss, including fear of failure, previous diet experiences, your thoughts about others' thoughts about you, the dreaded feeling of being deprived, not having time to lose weight, and all or nothing thinking. Then we looked at mindset shifts to help you get started losing weight. Then we looked at the benefit of self-love and how that can be the perfect fuel to help you move forward. And then we considered all the many things that you can do to help you get started, highlighting that it's not just about sticking to eating certain foods. In fact, it is very far from it. And so if you're curious about self-love and want to explore that further, do check out podcast episode number 28, which is called Loving Yourself First. And I'll drop that link in the show notes as well. And then before I go, just one more time, if you are interested and you would like to join the Lose Weight, Live Life Academy, either look out for when we open in late April for monthly memberships, when you will be able, as I said, to enroll in the monthly membership. Or if you want to get started right away, then check out the limited number of annual membership packages with 6 weeks of private coaching by going to www.thebestyou.coach/12 and then offer. And that is it for today. So have a lovely weekend or week, depending on when you're listening. And I look forward to chatting to you again next week. Take care. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast and are ready to live a more intentional life, lose weight as a part of that journey, and create a relationship with food and yourself that you love, then I would be honoured to be your coach. There are 2 ways that you can work with me. You can join my monthly membership program, My One Life Academy, that gives you self-paced learning, supported by twice-weekly live calls and a whole lot more. Or you can join the waiting list for my next 6-month Lose Weight, Live Life group coaching mastermind intensive. Go to www.thebestyou.coach/coaching to find out all the details.